Good day and welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI Tournament weekly broadcast. I had such a lot of recommendations this week that I couldn't even cast them all, so well, keep them coming. And well, I had about more than 20, I believe, so it's really been a lot. And in no particular order and without any games of myself, and of course that relieves me of the obligation of having to choose a theme, and the theme today will be thank you for everyone who has recommended a game. And we are kicking off with Alien versus Purple Spirit, and Purple Spirit is going to go off with a scout. Of course the scouts of Alien have departed already, and Alien opting for a quick natural expansion with a Sputnik pool, and Purple Spirit going for a 2 racks. Oh dear, with a couple of depots, so no BBS nonsense going on. Nice spread of buildings to maximize the vision. And the first Marines are going to be posted in the mineral line to, oh dear, here we go, all the SCVs, or all the SCVs, a lot of SCVs are coming off the line, 4 have remained behind. And Alien has got a handful of Zerglings, but it's really out of larvae, and that can be a bit of a problem. The first Marines are being engaged, but now the SCVs are coming to bear, and of course they don't do the much. Wow, these Zerglings really have to fight hard. Sunken being thrown up in all haste, but with the SCVs now in front and the Marines behind, of course reinforcements are being ferried over. It is going to be very bloody. Alien has got the minerals, but it's too late with the Sunken, and now it's going to be a bloody mess. Better would be, in my opinion, to try and post some Sunkens up here, but now we have got a handful of Marines aided by the SCVs tearing down that hatchery in record speed. Now the Zerglings for a last-ditch attempt. The drones are not coming off the line, there are no medics, but by this time the Marine have grown in such numbers that they are going to be able to tear down the Zerg base in. Oh well, they are going after the drones, they're going after the drones, and the Zerglings are mopping up all the Marines. Oh dear, this is going to be terrible. That was not the right decision at all. Purple Spirit had that game in the bag, but oh dear, that was not good at all. The Zerglings are now out in force, and although they are taking a lot of damage, these Marines cannot possibly do this. Only 4 SCVs back at home, 3 hatcheries now, and Alien is making Zerglings for what it's worth, and at the moment that is 7 versus 6 workers, so should be okay. And while these Marines are running, they cannot fire back. Oh, there is no Zergling speed, so that's a bit of luck for Purple Spirit, but by now these Zerglings are heading back home, are going to regenerate. And Purple Spirit, will it come out of it? No, it will remain dedicated to this build order with just the 2 barracks, and then, well, of course, there is no next wave of SCVs because the SCVs have all been sent over already, and Alien has got such a lot of Zerglings that's really out of this world. No gas yet, but the worker count is increasing, and these Zerglings will quickly and promptly chase these Marines back home. And Purple Spirit almost had it, but in that final decision neglected to kill the Zerglings, went for the drones instead, wasted a lot of time microing through the Zerglings and the drones, and paid the price. Now 12 workers for Alien, still only 5 for Purple Spirit, and the Zerglings are bringing it right back home. Perhaps Purple Spirit can hold off this wave of things. Doesn't look like it, however. The Zerglings are going to town on this barracks. And look at the next wave. Oh dear, that's going to be glorious. And I like how Alien is balancing the production of Zerglings with that of drones. 14 drones now. Might take another natural, will save up some money. This base is completely destroyed. And that was the end of the cheeky play of Purple Spirit. Oh, and that's the game. So, next game up is Purple Swarm versus TSMU Zerg. Starting off with a couple of Zerg matches. Of course, in one of them a Terran was involved, but didn't really make it till the end. Now, TSMU Zerg hasn't been updated in forever, as TSMU has been recruited by the Facebook team, of which precious little information is coming forward. But it's still a work of art. And Purple Swarm, of course, is the Zerg bot by Dan Gant, who also is in the employ of Facebook. So this is a bit of a clash of colleagues And let's see how it's going to pan out. TSMU Zerg going for a quick natural expansion. Not really all that much Zerglings, and finally a little bit later lair, 2 drones to the gas. The TSMU's got a 4-worker lead, and with the quicker natural will have an opportunity to do some work. Now TSMU hasn't got any army to speak of, so Purple Swarm has got, oh dear, that's very ballsy, just a very quick spire with a defensive structure of some kind. And Purple Swarm really hasn't got the gas at this point to do much, has got a low worker count. Finally some workers being sent to mine gas, but it's going to be very late, and at this rate only 1 muta can be made. TSMU Zergling is counting it all out, so should know what's coming. And this must be the what's it called, the spire. TSMU has got double the amount of workers, and these Zerglings, although building a very nice concave, really can't get too much done. Small peek how many mutas are in production, only 1. And TSMU's spire will finish up. No natural yet for Purple Swarm. And the first muta is going to go out with a handful of Zerglings, and that's a large handful. Hasn't scouted TSMU's base, so TSMU will have a lot of time. Still more than double the amount of workers. Is that going to be an Evo Bay? You know it's going to be Queen's Nest. Oh god, well, TSMU is absolutely crazy. Quick, very quick hive. And Purple Swarm is finding the next base deserted as well. TSMU hasn't got any army in the world. Has got 1 muta now, but it's very little, and it's not really going to work. It's going to town on the Zerglings. I think that's the good decision. And now with 2 mutas, let me try and cast this as it should be. TSMU retracted some workers, and now is catching the mutas with their pants down. And TSMU is doing this beautifully, but losing about 10 workers. That's quite bad for TSMU. It's good for Purple Swarm, of course. Purple Swarm still on 1 base, making a couple of mutas, and has sort of got the money for another hatchery. But TSMU has got things well under control, and of course has got this eco advantage, has got the extra hatchery, has got another extra hatchery, and is replenishing workers at record speed. So if you are wondering why Cherry Pie is so good, it is because both TSMU and Dan Gans are working on it, and TSMU taking a 3rd, so that's pretty well done. The hive is up, and I don't really know what's with that, but oh dear, TSMU completely not making any army whatsoever. Cup of Scourge, losing a lot of workers, and that's just very bad. Oh dear, Purple Swarm not really playing the best game either, but TSMU, if you're not going to make any army at all, yeah, that's 1 muta, and that's going to be the other one. But TSMU losing a lot of workers and losing more, so that's, as far as adaptive play goes, it's not really a correct estimation of the enemy strength, and these mutas of Purple Swarm are decimating the worker lines. TSMU is keeping up with the worker production because it's got the 3rd base, which is still untouched, but it hasn't got the right army to beat this off. And you can see that these 2 mutas are being chased by Cup of Scourge. This base unharmed, this base is being pressured a little bit, but TSMU just bloody well refuses to build any kind of defense for its workers, so you may have the eco advantage. That will soon be over. Oh, but the Lings are now in there and are going to do work as well. Purple Swarm under a lot of pressure. 13 workers now with the army. Oh, still the army apart. TSMU is so crazy. It's really beyond me how you can have 3.5 army supply if you've got 30 workers in 3 bases. That's well, that's the Evo chamber, that's always good to see. Of course it's got map control, and Purple Swarm hasn't got many workers, but this is absolutely crazy, and still losing workers despite having more than triple the economy of the enemy. That is totally beyond me. And TSMU, what's it making? It's making a Defiler mount, more drones, a Hydra Den, and 1 muta. And now has an army supply of 7.5 and a Defiler mount and 3 bases. And Purple Swarm is, well, making the occasional worker, but not really all that much. TSMU is completely out of it, only making one muter, one zergling, and we have another muter in the mineral line. Gets sniped by a muter and a scourge. I think that's really well balanced by TSMU. Just hit the enemy muter with one scourge and then 1 or 2 taps with a muter, and then it's okay. This muter is going to die a slow and painful death. It keeps trying to out-micro these muters of purple swarms, but now with 2 more scourge and 2 more muters, Purple Swarm correctly estimates that it cannot really win that and is going back to town. TSMU on 42 workers and still making more drones. Has got 14.5 army supply, but it's absolutely crazy. And the Scourge and the 1 muter of TSMU are being chased back to base. TSMU with a handful of overlords on the warpath and now finally more muters. So army composition wise 7-7, and TSMU is backing it up with a little bit of scourging, so that's looking okay for now. TSMU taking a 4th base, and still the income disparity is going to be humongous. TSMU has got Plague and Consume. Oh dear, what's this? Are we going to see a Plague neuter in an AI Zerg versus Zerg? That would be absolutely great. The neuters and the Zerglings though are breaking down the natural. And although this one's being chased back, the worker count for Purple Swarm at this time is 12, only the main base is sort of up and running. TSMU was all over this with a large stack of muters, and I think that Purple Swarm has got this army group better grouped, and TSMU is going to lose a lot of muters just for nothing. But with the 4th base nearly operational and the worker count of 46, production tab is finally starting to look like something. Hatcheries all over the place, and the question is there is a defiler, and I wonder where it is. If it is here, it might be in the propinquity of landing a nice plague on these evil muters, but I can't really. Well, let's keep an eye on the muters, and perhaps the defiler will pop up by itself. Purple Swarm has got the army lead for some reason, losing some muters to Scourge. That's not really good. But then again, also pestering the 4th base, and Scourge coming in from all angles, so that's good. I wonder though where the defiler is. We still should have one, because the unit screen shows me that it's there. But where it actually is as of yet unknown. Let's see, these are Zerglings, Neuters, Scourge. Oh, here it is. And it has got full energy, and of course it got Plague. So these muters of Purple Swarms had better be very, very careful. What the defiler is going to do is anyone's guess. Oh, and it plagues its own Scourge. That's really unfortunate, but you can't have it all, as they say. That was a nice dodge by a Purple Swarm, but the Plague muter still can do a lot of damage. And yeah, this one is right on. It should now burrow, because otherwise it's going to die or cast a swarm. But these 3 muters have been badly plagued and they've caught the plague, so they're not going to be worth much. TSMU with the 4th base operational. It's got 50 versus 10 workers, the natural of Purple Swarms and Tatters. This one Sunken is going to go down horribly. Muters and Scourge, and of course, oh, the last plague, Muter from Purple Swarm is going to die. And TSMU is rolling this game up, wrapping it up in style. Will we have another defiler? Yes, a couple, and if you let TSMU do this, it's going to look like that eventually. So, all the workers of Purple Swarm dead. I am going to call the GG, because, well, what else can it be? And let's hop into the next game, which will be, Willy T, I should say, sorry about that. Willy T versus Styx Zerg. And hopefully we'll get some other Styxes in as well, because it has been, for a new Zerg, quite entertaining. It's not 4-pooling, and that's always a good thing to have. Willy T is going for barracks first, then a depot, then another barracks. And the scouting is somehow also already on its way back. And Styx is going for the quick expansion with the spawning pool, which has become standard. And then another in-base hatchery. So enough marines to repel this Zergling incursion, and the Zergling incursion is going to do a little bit of damage to some random buildings, but all in all, Willy T doing quite well for itself, and worker-wise Styx at 15, so that's okay. Usually Zerg are overcommitting on units and not making enough workers, but the lair's already almost done. We've got a couple of drones, hydras, and a lurker play is in the offing, as they say, because every time I see a hydra den and a lair, it's going to be about lurkers, and lurkers are pretty good. Oh, and these stimmed fire bats really have their way with the zerglings. 20 workers for Willy T, that's acceptable. A little bit supply blocked, but is sort of making one depot at a time to get out of the supply block, and that is, oh dear, that's a nice push. Lots of bio with the medics, and of course some SCVs are coming out to help as well. Lurker aspect is nearly done. The problem is that these two hydras are over here and right in the path of the enemy army. So that's maybe very painful. But the army sort of ignores them. Have we got a scanner? Yes, we have. Will we have another? Yes, there is another lurker going to be there. This lurker is going to burrow. That one's going to burrow as well. The main problem is that the main army is over here. And this, oh dear, look at that stim army go. That's really... And it doesn't get down in time, the poor lurker. And these two do manage to get themselves buried. We've now got 3 lurkers, but you should really get your head down. There are... And they are not firing at all. They are... Oh no, finally they are firing. Oh, and it got up while it was badly hurt. And these 2 lurkers over here, I don't know what they are doing, but they're trying to kill and are killing reinforcements. We've got 1 lurker, but its micro is so bad and it really can't get down. And now it's getting down. And with the sunken, two sunkens and 1... Oh god, the lurker micro is so bad, it really hurts my eyes. But with a handful of sunkens, perhaps that Styx is going to hold. Of course, there is... there were 2 lurkers, but the lurker micro... Again, burrowing, unburrowing while it's not needed is going to take its toll on the hit points of this poor lurker. And of course it's rather slow. Now it burrows right in the nick of time. And with 2 lurkers perhaps they might... one gets killed, the other one Oh god, it's so hard to watch as a Zerg fan. But by the skin of its teeth, Styx Zerg is holding. And the army of Willy T is retreating for reasons best left explained by the author sometime. A couple of overlords finding themselves killed in the middle of the map, that's not good at all. And this one Zergling is going to play tag with a couple of medics without energy, and with his hybrid friend coming along, it will win eventually. But a little bit of work to be done in the lurker micro department. So again, a lurker is coming up. And you can see how it's going to deal with its medic. And now it's going to go back and forth and back and forth, and it eludes the army. And then it unburrows again. It's got no clue what the hell is going on. Of course, there is another Hydra, a couple of Hydras actually, with money for lurkers. But it's not really going to work, is it? And Willy T hasn't got a natural of its own, so that's interesting. And with the increase of the number of lurkers and the fact that there is only 1 comsat, that might spell doom for Terran eventually. But the lurker micro for Styx will have to be a little bit lucky, because as we saw earlier, it's not really as good as it could be yet. Another base being taken by Styx, even though it's sort of under pressure. I like that. And these lurkers, oh god, these lurkers. Oh well, finally 2 bury. And yeah, keep your head down, and they're all going to get killed because they keep burrowing, unburrowing in the face of the enemy army, and that is, as they say, rather painful. Oh god, why? It's so cruel. It's it's like having a really bad boss that says, well, oh god, this medic is. Just burrow 2 over here and kill this lot, and it's be done with it. And you can see now this is an excellent spot, but a scan goes off, that's not the worst of it. And finally a decent-ish lurker fight. This medic thing will need to be cleared up. And now keep your bloody head down, gather up a small army and get rolling. And the natural for Styx is up, that's good. Of course, of 1 base it can only produce so many lurkers. With another base it can produce a couple more. And let's see if it's going to make any more workers. Yes, it's still making workers, so that's good. Which makes me believe that perhaps in the long run, Styx may come out victorious. That is, if the Lurker Micro holds up, and that's a pretty big if for this young Zerg. Now, again, a couple of shots being fired from this Lurker, and oh god, losing a Lurker from nothing, losing an egg from nothing at all. And now, oh, that's a nice block, but of course you need some army. Oh, and the Marine Micro isn't as good either, so... Okay, out of scans, that's good, because then you can't kill a lot of Lurkers and then you unburrow and die. But in a sort of defensive stance at the edge of the creep, this Lurker appears to be doing okay. And now Willy T just lost an army for nothing at all. And Styx is going to take another base, perhaps. I don't know where this drone's going. Oh, the neutral minerals have not been mined out. Perhaps it's going to take the natural. That would be coherent with the... Yes, there we go. And now it only needs to hold off the Terran army with one comsat for a little while longer to get the natural up. And god, these Lurkers. There are 6 or 5 or 7 or whatever, but their micro is just so bad. But then the Terran micro is not really good either. So this is... for all intents and purposes, a pretty attractive match, if you don't mind the occasional clusterfuck. But Lurker production for Styx has finally been brought up to speed, and a lot of badly damaged Lurkers, but with only one comsat out here, just get down, kill it all. The Lurker micro is so bad. And now the scans are out, and this Terran army is going to get itself impaled on this badly damaged Lurker army. Looks like Styx is actually trying to have as badly damaged Lurkers as possible, but now Willy T is being brought back to base. The army is just not good at fighting large-scale engagements. We've got Stim, we've got the range, we haven't got the +1/+1. But now the Lurkers have hit the enemy base, the Natural's up and running, 4th base being taken. Styx has got quite decent macro. Micro could do with a little bit of a touch-up. The one comsat for now is holding, and of course, oh, this Lurker Micro is absolutely horrendous. I don't really... well, of course, it's pretty hard to code a thing like that, and Lurkers aren't the easiest units to use. Oh, but just keep them down, just leapfrog a little bit, and, well, you've got 3-to-1 base, and of course the Terran base is mining out, so Willy T has got a bit of a bank, but will not be there forever. The comset is... equipped with energy, but oh, there we go, a couple of scans going off, and the Terran army is cleaning up the Zerg again. Oh, and this Lurker really had its work cut out for itself, but then unburrowed and dropped the ball. 5th base being taken by Styx, and the main base, of course, being completely empty, and Hydra range is being developed, and lots of Sunkens here at the rear. I don't know why that is, but there you go. A couple of workers being transferred in a somewhat suboptimal fashion, and Willy T's got quite a nice army together. It's got almost 50 supply worth of bio, and that can be quite dangerous. Styx has got 16 supply, and OT is transferring workers from left to right and from right to left, but refuses to build any kind of respectable army. And this bio push, especially if you're not going to fight it, or at least try and stop it or slow it down. Look at the micro by Styx. Macro, I can't have anything against that, that's looking good. But the micro is just not there, and the decision making is requiring a lot of work. All the Zerg units are dying left and right. Will Willy T still win this? Out of money, with only one comsat versus a Lurker build of 4 bases, and with 9 army supply versus a decently upgraded Terran bio army with marines and medics. It's going to be pretty bloody. So what's Styx going to do? Build a couple of Sunkens. That may hold on in the end. The natural is going to be lost. The main will be... well, that's quite a nice bit of Sunkens either. And the marines, of course, they have been stimming so hard that the medics are really low on energy. So with a couple of Zerglings and a couple of Sunkens, this army size might be trimmed down a little bit. It was about 50, now only about 40, and Willy T's run plain out of minerals, no long distance mining going on. So any marine that is killed cannot be replaced, and perhaps Willy T will run out of steam like this. 40 became 35. The Marines are now heading back to base. And Willy T's got a lot of money and workers and Sunkens all over the place. Every base has got about 4 of them. I think that's nice. And Willy T is losing units one at a time. The natural was up for grabs. The main base could have been taken by storm. Basically anything could have been taken by storm, but both these players, decision making and micro, are not really up for a kill yet. And Styx is now making a lot of Zerglings, trying to kill a couple of medics, but here come the fire bats, and fire bats do such horrible things to Zerglings. And with the stim and the healing going on, that's not going to last very long. Then again, more units are coming. We've got a couple of lurkers. The comp set is full, but you can see the problem that every unit, and oh, wow, Willy T being so very effective with the units it's got, it is out of this world. The fight started with 35 and now it's still 32. And this is going to hurt a little, but the lurkers are going for the depot instead of the enemy army. And this lurker keeps on burrowing. The problem in the bigger picture is that the entire map is now turning orange, and all kinds of bases have been popping up all over every expansion. And still Willy T defending with 32 supply. That's pretty decent. The base is... oh well, the buildings have been sort of repaired, but every little nab they get now cannot be repaired because there isn't any money anymore, and still 32 is the army of Willy T. It's like the Alamo really, once more into the breach, my friends, and losing a depot. Going to lose... oh, lost one unit there, but not too much. And this Bioforce, I think the SCVs might get in there as well. A couple of extra medics might have helped, but slowly but surely these depots will all be attacked and killed. And the problem is that Zerg's production tab looks like this, Terran production tab looks like that, and that's going to be the end of it. But still, Willy T is defending with 31 army supply, and it might even be said that if these depots, when they are dead, it might be easier for Willy T to defend one spot. This lurker is just waiting in, waiting out, and not really getting anything done. Still 31 army supply, and these lurkers just keep on hitting these poor buildings, and that's not working. But by now, oh dear, the mineral only of Terran will be taken, and it will not be long before the natural will be taken as well, or perhaps even the main. 31 army supply versus 36, and the Terran army is still out there firing at everything Zergling coming in. But now there are a couple of lurkers coming in as well. The barracks are being engaged. 30 supply, and the Zerg army is beaten back again. A couple of fire bats are lost, and that will mean only 2 more fire bats. 24 army supply. Right now, the Zerg army is glorious. And here, no, not the natural yet, but 24 army supply. But Terran is just losing. Every little bit it loses, it cannot replenish. And oh, these 3 lurkers, 4 lurkers by now, are cleaning up the remnants of the Terran army. Only 5 left, and now no BM. Oh, perhaps here we go. No, it's not there. I don't know why, but no BM taking off the enemy natural, and that's going to be the game. So very well played by Willy T and Styx. And as should be clear by now, where the work will have to be invested in combat micro. And of course a little bit of macro for Willy T. Then I got a game recommendation. It was Herrick versus Banana Brain. Banana Brain's been working hard for until a couple of weeks ago. And then it sort of stalled, no more updates, and its impetus sort of dropped, and then the Cutest took over the new Protoss stage. But before we get into that, let's have the game versus Herrick. Herrick sort of had a similar scenario earlier on. It was able to take down Ironbot, and by means of that rose to the 2nd place. Now is a still very good Zerg, but not really a top contender. Could do with a couple of upgrades, but the general play is acceptable, and that's really where the difference is going to be made, if your general play is acceptable or not, and then what you can do on top of that. And that's also why Kilowatt is such an exceptional piece of AI. It's almost 3 years old now, and or 2 I should say, last update about 2 years ago, and it can still kick a lot of ass, and that's just because it's so well constructed. Its general level of play is so high versus all three races that it can be a beauty to watch. Now, Herrick is rather macro-hungry, building two, what are they called, creep colonies, and keeping a little bit of a tab on the enemy, so if the enemy is going to move out, you can easily morph them into Sunkens and be okay and safe. For the time being, I would say, oh, here comes the natural for Banana Brain and the Scout. Of course, it's not a Scout, it's a Corsair, but the Corsair is scouting, so if you get my drift. And the Corsair is drifting as well, so that's pretty well done. Overlord's getting a couple of nabs, but there are enough Hydras to put a stop to that. Banana Brain not going overboard with the army, just a couple of Corsairs, a couple of Zealots, and just try and have fun with that. The Corsairs, though, are really taking a lot of damage, and that's not how it should be, but there is another one coming up, and these Hydras have got their hands full protecting the Overlords, but the Overlords are a-okay, and the Corsairs could be a little bit better. Now Zerg is mustering a little bit of a push, third base being taken by Banana Brain, and now the Zealots are running in, and the Hydras are finding themselves at the back to the wall without speed, so that's not good. And the problem is that when Zealots have speed and Hydras haven't, it's going to be pretty bloody. And of course there is no +1 yet, and that's good for the Zerglings, but these Hydras are being wasted for nothing, and that's not the correct evaluation. If the enemy's got speed and you haven't, you should not attack with Hydras versus Zealots. Or you should if the numbers are greatly in your favour. Herrick taking a 4th base, 3rd base up for Banana Brain, worker transfer going off, always very good to see. We've got Templar Tech, we've got a Robo Bay, we've got an Observatory, and have we got a Robo Support Bay, because Reavers would be a very nice addition to this game, if I should say so myself. This Overlord's got a bit of a suicidal tendency, and the Hydras are now trying to do away with these Corsairs. The Corsairs taking way too much damage for my liking, and that is one of the disadvantages if you are going to play harass by algorithm or by heuristic, and that's, ooh, that Overlord is going to fall. This one's going to fall. But really be more, oh dear, the Zealots are getting stopped in their tracks, the Sunkens are buffering the damage, and now the Hydras are killing the rest. 4th base up and running, not being mined from, Banana Brain taking a 4th, but that is, you need a general concept of where the enemy main body is, and where its air forces are, where its ground forces are, where you are going to harass and where not, and not keep a couple of Corsairs over here and a couple of Hydras there and just keep them in this local conflict. That's usually not going to work out very well in the long run. Now the Hydras are on the march, and these Corsairs are breakdancing their way well, towards various directions really. Worker transfer, oh yes, there we go, a couple of more coming. But the problem for Banana Brain is it's got only 23 army supply, and a lot of that is in Corsairs, so that's not a whole lot of stopping power. And Herrick has got quite a bit of Hydras, 26. Every army supply is now in Hydras, and the worker transfer is going to be cut short. And I fear the same will happen for this base as well if the Hydras do find it, but the Hydras are swerving back. Because there are Corsairs, and that I think is a net win for Banana Brain. Banana Brain really ought... oh, there we go. Storm is done, couple of Templar, that's nice, especially if there are a lot of Hydras, and a lot of Hydras are stuck on one Corsair now. That's not how it's done. 4th base operational, no 5th base yet. And let's see, oh, we've got a Hive, upgrade-wise, Protoss are really towering over the Zerg at this point, and of course there is Storm. So 5th base for Protoss, and that's earlier than the 5th base for Zerg, and Protoss is in an okay position. It's got almost double the army supply, and with these High Templars they are gathering energy, and if they've got a lot of energy, oh, we've got a Consume coming up, that might really be nice. This probe is dead and was very brave. Dear, these probes. The Corsairs are keeping the Zerg army at bay, that's nice, and here comes the Protoss Death Ball with 71 army supply backed up by a handful of High Templars, which of course are also in there. And there we go, I'll put this down to normal speed so you can watch it in all its glory. The Hydras are having a ball at the bridges, a lot of damage. The Zealots have ranged them, so that's okay. The problem is going to come in here, and that's the first storm, that's the second storm, and now the Zealots are ploughing ahead. Nice concave by Zerg, but I fear, well, Protoss is suffering a lot as well, and if one of these flanks is caving in, it might be a problem, but these Hydras are caving in themselves, so for the time being, Herrick being beaten back, Banana Brain doing great, and this push is petering out, and oh dear, the High Templar are going to be mopped up. Here is the Defiler, that's good. The Zealots are targeting it, so that's okay. But the Hydra numbers are just too low. It's 17 versus 70 army supply right now. And of course you are going to lose a couple of Hydras. And the Defiler upgrades are still prepping. And of course the Defiler should be kept out of harm's way until it's ready. That might be a little bit of a point of attention for Herrick. Of course Herrick is not actually updating his bot, so that's going to be hard. The Banana Brain exploding all over the map, 17 versus 37 workers, army supply is now 70 versus 8, the natural is being overrun, there is really nothing left for Herrick, and the Banana Brain is just too good, too macro heavy, and is going to take this game, it looks like, in style. Lots of upgrades for Zerg coming up, but Ultra Speed is not really going to do you much good if you haven't got any army with Ultras in there. So the natural has been reduced to ashes, the fourth base has been reduced to rubble as well. There is one Hydra over there, it gets killed. And Banana Brain doing it with a lot of Zealots, handful of Corsairs. Oh, DT is always nice, lots of DPS and some, that's 3 High Templar in the mix. And we've got 1 Ultra, and it can kill 1 Zealot, perhaps, no, not even 2. The Protoss superiority is just too great. And Disruption Web might be a nice touch, but as you can see, there we go, main base completely ruined, and that's the last Zerg base, and Zerg's got a little bit of money, but will have no time to rebuild. 2 Hydras and an Overlord and a Drogon are all that's left to stop the Protoss invasion. By now it's 70 army supply, Protoss 130 army supply, 70 workers. Protoss is maxed, and that is the end of that, as they say. So, next game up, also a recommendation, Chastened versus Crazio, and I thought, well, why would anyone recommend this, because it's such, well, and I should be showing you this, because I always do. I need the scores, please, and I need Crazio's ladder. So if you look at this, the ELO rating, Crazio's way out on top, then the Cutest doing really well for itself, still hasn't found a way to break the tank, so Resistance is sort of holding on with about an ELO point of 60, and then there is a nice gap between Cutest and Ironbot, then Purple Wave, and basically the rest. Banana Brain doing quite well. Last update from 14th of May, so received an update recently, I missed that, sorry. TSMU Random doing great, of course. TSMU Tone, Skyforknet really going strong, Microwave, and then Kilowatt, Willybot, Riva, and the rest. And Sieger Shoe is over there, and where is Chastened? I haven't seen it yet, so it's quite far down. And disregarding voting, the leaderboard looks like this at the moment. Crazio way out on top with an ELO rating of only 22 points higher than Ironbot at this point. That's really impressive. Then Kilowatt, Riva, Purple Wave, Steamhammer, TSMU Protoss, Cherry Pie doing very well, has dropped a bit. And then the Cutest has not got as many games as Crazio. Win rate is okay, and the Cutest appears to be doing well against the top bots with all the voting. That might explain why it's so high ranked on our own ladder. But really impressive. Kilowatt being here is very, very, very impressive. And well, Crazio and Iron are so close. It's not really. It's a toss-up, really. Occasionally one wins, but Crazio has got more, has got better play versus the rest of the pack, and Iron can be a little bit vulnerable when under pressure, and Crazio is just this huge Moloch just defending with tanks and mines and with some city. That's hard to believe for anyone. So, Chastened going for a very quick Stargate. I don't know what is that. Crazio with a bunker on the high ground, a couple of extra Marines, army supply-wise. Oh, all the Marines are outside the bunker. And then with a couple of Vultures, and that is going to be the Academy. I know it's going to be another factory. So Crazio sticking to one base for a long time. Chastened taking a strange second base with a handful of Vultures, and of course this Wraith is doing okay. Crazio being very defensive, suspecting some kind of trouble, and is now moving down to the low ground. Has gotten a little bit of money saved up. Oh, and Chastened is losing a lot of Vultures to these tanks, and that's not good at all. The one Marine is going to be all the anti-air there is, and with two Wraiths up above, that's going to take a while. There are, of course, turrets, and there is an armory, and with two factories, I think that Crazio, yep, there we go, start producing Goliaths again. But by now, these two Wraiths have got free range, and more will be coming, so that's 3, and are going to do a lot of damage to the floating buildings. Should be concentrating on the tanks though, that would be much wiser. But Crazio taking a little bit of damage, and Chastened wrecking ahead economically because of that. And Crazio's natural is very, very, very late. The Wraiths containing the terrain to the high ground, lots of damage being done, and Crazio hasn't got, oh, it's got one comsat, it's only got one, and that means it's reliant on turrets for cloak detection, and that is, well, as you can see, it's not really enough. This depot is suffering horribly, and I don't know why all the bots we see today, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, Chastened, why are you throwing away all your Wraiths? That's not good at all. So Crazio moving out, he's got a decent army, he's got a decent work count. Chastened has only got 8. Might have taken another base in the meantime, but so far so good. And Crazio is defending for all it's worth, but hasn't got that second command center with the second comsat. And now Chastened setting up shop. Of course, hasn't got the air vision Crazio's got. There you go. Crazio doing so well for itself. This tank is in a sublime position. Crazio's tanks, well, there are only 2, 3 are still high up on the high ground. And Chastened taking a third base, bringing a lot of pressure on Crazio. And that's really how you can make this work, because Crazio is investing so much money in defensive structures, and although he's sort of clearing up these tanks, and if Chastened might be bringing a floating building or two of its own, it might have greatly increased vision. Now Crazio, oh, one last blast, and that's going to be that. This tank is so vulnerable, and now Crazio has finally broken out. There is the third base of Chastened, and this dropship with Goliaths is flying straight by it. That's not good. Or at least it isn't for Crazio. It's good for Char, because Char hasn't got a single combat unit over here. Now the main's going strong. Crazio has finally been able to rack up 400 minerals for the natural command center. 3-0 and another one. So Crazio detects when it's out from under the pressure, immediately asserts itself, takes control of the bridge, and takes 2 bases at the same time. So that's pretty good. 1, 2 tanks, and the Wraith are cleaning it up back at home. And the Wraith, of course, is going to pursue that dropship, but not for too long. I think Chastened is trying to get a contain up on Crazio, but Crazio is so good with repairing the floating buildings, that's going to be pretty hard to do. Should rather try and harass the third base, which is at this moment completely defenseless. Now Crazio's army is a little bit better. It's higher value, but because there are so many Wraiths, Crazio is a little bit overdoing it on the Goliaths, and that means that these tanks, although they have got repair and increased vision, are suffering a little bit. And the Vultures of Chastened are doing great work. So I forgot who recommended this game, but thank you for it, because so far it's been pretty good. And Chastened is losing atrocious amount of units. Crazio's army is a little bit bigger, but with 3-0 Crazio, what are you doing? So ballsy. Just building bases all across the map and trying to get out enough army to break this contain. But for the moment, Chastened is doing quite well. And there is a nice minefield and a tank, so yeah, Chastened doing okay for itself. For the time being, main base is mining out. Crazy's main base has been oversaturated forever, so that's going to mine out as well. Natural and third have been later. Now Crazio has broken out of the box. The third base is completely nailed shut with all kinds of crazy buildings, greatly impeding gas mining. And Chastened is trying to stop a tank with vultures. That's not really the most cost-efficient battle you could imagine. Crazio, once out of the box, will assert itself, will take all the bases it can, and Chastened really struggling to get any kind of an army together. The pressure was nice, and still Crazio is not out on the map, and that's strange. Chastened has got a larger army. Crazio, what's it making? It's making a lot, but for some reason Chastened is doing so well with the tanks, and now is sieging up the natural. What is this about? No air cover though, so this raid can be quite effective. But the natural's being engaged, and Chastened is looking to take. Could not be taking the game of Crazio, surely. And this raid is doing so much damage, but the natural of Crazios is in tatters. The main is out, and this is the only production facility he's got. There are, there's a tech building over here, some turrets, but nothing major. And if Crazio is going to lose that command center, this is almost like chess, where a single rook and a couple of pawns are detaining an entire empire because of their great positioning. Now Crazio moving out, losing a Goliath. Oh dear, oh dear. Chastened bringing the pain, rolling up the tanks. That's good. Taking one more base. That's absolutely. Oh, this army though has gotten itself stuck. I'd really think that Chastened would like to have it here, because then it could do something about this army of Crazios. But it's for now stuck over here, and I don't know what it's going to do. But it's trying to move up and through this base, but this base has been. Wow, you could perhaps run around the back. I don't know. The movement of Chaz is not really as good as it could be, and Crazio is trying to move out, but there is no kind of. Oh, here we go. There is one tank over here and only one vulture, so that's not going to work. But in principle, these bases are highly vulnerable, and Crazio can't really oh, it's got a bit of an air force now, so that's good. But the natural has been torn down, and this army is. That's about 40 supply there, right there, doing damn all. So armies are really rather even at this point. Chastened though has got so many buildings and so much production capacity. If we look at the production tab, it's making one fat round of vultures after another, and you can see that by all the mines which have been laid. And oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. There we go. Chastened, what are you doing? You should be pestering these bases because you've got the contain off on Crazio. Natural's almost rebuilt, but the third base is low, and this base is completely defenseless. But the map awareness of Chastened is not as good as Crazio's. Crazio is just going to roll out with the tanks once more. It's got a bit of an air force now. It's got science vessel, and the tank count right now is too big for Chastened. Chasten's army, about 30 supply worth of it, is over here, and if it's got all these vultures, it can't really make any much else. And that's problematic. This base could be up for grabs with 3 vultures. You could do it all in. This base would need a little bit more work because there are 1-2 tanks and 1 matrix tank. That's going to take more work. But really, the big problem is this, and if Crazio is going to tear down this factory, it's going to be problematic. But Crazio is approaching max as well, has got all kinds of ninjas expansions all across the map, and Chastened is running out of gas. But this army is gotten unstuck. That's good. You can see that these vultures really can't make it happen against the tanks. The tanks are doing too much damage, and although they are not being protected as well as they could by their own vultures, they are doing just way too much. Oh, and Crazio balls to the wall, running up the minefield with tanks and bio, taking a lot of damage, but taking down this base of Chastened as well, and now producing all kinds of army factories outside the main base. I think that's good. and Crazio keeps on rolling. Chastened is down to 8 army supply. We're really out of money because Crazio shut this down with a drop. This is the only income that Chastened has at this point, and there is a little bit of a problem in yellow coming up, so that might not be the longest mining operation we will see. And Crazio with about 10 wraiths, oh well, 11 actually, is sort of maxed and has got a really well diversified army. Has shaken off the pressure of Chastened, and you can all see where this is going. Crazio is going to rule. Now, upgrade-wise, it's clear that both players have got a fair number of upgrades. Crazio is continuing the streak, though, because he's got the money, and Chastened is down and out. So, without waiting for Crazio to dismantle all the buildings of Chastened, let's hop into the next game, which will be Pineapple Cactus versus Lucas Moravec. And Pineapple Cactus, of course, we saw the Terran Incarnation being added to the server, which was interesting. But not really one of the big Terrans yet. The Zerg is quite decent, and Lucas Moravec is trying a lot of things, and either he's keeping them secret for CIG, who's the major tournament from South Korea. Of course, the signups have been enabled since yesterday, the day before that, I think. It will be interesting to see how that's going to pan out, and I think with the well, the added interest of employers for people good at root war AI, I think that people are going to save their, oh here come the Zerglings, are going to save some special effects for main tournaments just to do better there and not show everything they've got on stream. So Lucas with 2 goons out on the map, handful of Zerglings over there, but not too much. Pineapple Cactus with a badly placed Sunken or Creep right now, but for the time being okay. Lucas is testing so much, is adding stuff all the time, and either he can't really get the big picture together, or he is, oh there, that's better placed. That's brilliantly placed by Pineapple Cactus. And behind these 2 Sunkens he can sit back for a while. These 4 goons, oh but he should bring the, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's not good at all. The goons are losing so many hit points to this one. They're losing friends, really. Waiting in, waiting out, that's something that we should stop. I think that Lucas is saving himself for CIG, for any other major tournament. And we have now got the Rover Bay and Natural Expansion, so that's pretty good right now. This goon, though, perhaps it's going to die as well, and that's just a bloody shame, because you can't really lose 4 goons for one creep colony. That's not how it's done. And this goon is going to be brought right back home, and that's not the right position to morph a lurker. So, as far as I know, no Zerg yet has managed to find some kind of a safe spot to morph lurkers. They will just attack me with Hydras, and when the Overmind does decide a lurker is needed, one of the Hydras gets picked at random, be it in the middle of the fight or far in the rear, and is morphed into a lurker, and then the lurker micro usually sucks. So still a lot of potential left in lurkers. Here's one lurker though, and it's burrowed in an atrociously bad position. Well, it can help this Sunken versus the Zealots, and I think that's okay, but could be a little bit better, could be over here, could do a lot more damage there. Now, the Lurker is moving out with a handful of Zergs and friends. Lucas, meanwhile, with the Natural up and running, building a little bit of tech here and there, and that must be a robot support bay. Yep, there we go. Shuttle Reaver might be good to have as well. And I think that if McGrave is going to participate in CIG, that it will have to show all the other Protoss how it's done with Reaver Shuttle. It's such a shame that we no longer have him on the server. It used to be so beautiful, and I think with all the energy McGrave's got, that it would be a treat to have I think it's going to be a contender for the major titles, for Iron, for TSMU, and of course for Crazio. So Crazio should not underestimate what's coming. Oh dear, and these, oh finally the Observer is coming, and these 2 Lurkers without support did a fair bit of damage, but I think not enough. Pineapple Cactus with the 3rd base, but of course the 3rd base, ooh, the 3rd base for Pineapple is under attack. And this goon can't deal with it on its own. This shuttle, I don't know, has it got a Reaver? Are there Reavers at all? There are 2 Reavers, so there could be a Reaver here, but the micro is just too bad. And the prioritizing of this one Lurker is not really good at all. Of course the Nexus survives, and that's good. Pineapple Cactus is doing okay, but it's all just moving units and not really any kind of concerted army. And anytime an army does come together, it's because the enemy is trickling in units one at a time as well, so that gets a bit of a stone effect on... Oh, here comes the Reaver in the major combat zone, but it's going to try and find the enemy, and that's good. This is very hard for Zerg to deal with because there is such a lot of damage potential in this shuttle. Now a Scourge and a Muta are being sent after it. 4th base, full Zerg, that's good. 3rd base, operational, very nicely done. Army supply-wise, Lucas Moravec has got a hell of a lot more supply than has... Oh, and one more! Oh, and this Reaver is so very lucky. But now the Mutas come in after it. So this hybrid play with the Zerglings, Mutas and Lurkers is being quite effectively handled by Pineapple Cactus. It's got a fair amount of workers, so it should be okay, and I don't know what this Pineapple is doing over here, but this base is going to be pressured. And these shuttles really ought to be able to get more done. Of course, the Sunkens are covering this base pretty well, but right over here, you can just fly in through here, drop 2 shuttles, kill this Sunken, and the base is yours for the taking. And no Zergen army is going to stop. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. So much damage done by a single Lurker. But this base is saved, and that's I think, is the most important thing for Lucas Moravec at this point. No 5th base for Zerg yet, 4th base untouched, and oh, that's nice. Storm, always good to have. Another good-ish storm, but then you need to kill, and you need to have these storms being used in tandem with regular units, and there it comes. Lucas Moravec has a decent little army, and that's very good. With the Observer and with an Archon, of course, and now not throw the Archon away, just keep it in the rear, do the damage with the Goons and with the High Templars, and of course if there are going to be any Mutas, you can blast them because they don't like them. So Lucas with the 4th base doing pretty well. Main is not even mined out yet, and army supply wise is in a much better position than is Pineapple Cactus. Pineapple Cactus making the odd unit here and there, but is losing so much stuff, and this Archon is really doing a murderous job on this 3rd base, but is finally taken down by a lone Hydra, and then the Hydras are moving into morphing into Lurkers. But Pineapple Cactus, I feel, lacks any kind of coherent strategy, and at this point Lucas is just better with that, with the Storms, with the Archons, and Observer coverage is actually quite excellent, so that's nicely done. If only it could get more purchase out of its Reavers, perhaps to kill the Sunkens, that would be nice, because these workers will die by their own. Oh, and not move High Templars into Sunken colonies, that's not good. But Lucas now with the 4th base up, a couple of, oh dear, small flying ointment, but should not be too big. And now we've got an Ultra, but there are Dark Templars, there are Reavers, and the army supply of Pineapple is just so tiny, it's not going to work at all. And Pineapple has got some kind of reactive Spore and Sunken building algorithm, which I like very much. And the Scourge are doing great as well, and now the Mutas have free range over the battlefield. And there is only one... Oh dear, and that's doing a tremendous amount of damage, I say. That's not good at all. The Ultra with the Zerglings and the Lurker are mopping up the Zealots, so this is kind of a nice distributed PvZ, and Pineapple Cactus is still in there. Main is out, Protoss main is out as well, but another base being taken. That's pretty marvelous, pretty ingenious, and I'd really like to have these games by not top level bots to show how well they can play, but they can, as you can see, they can play pretty well. And that's just a sight to see. And now Lucas Moravec is trying to get it together, because this base is really rather vulnerable. This base is 2, it's 3 versus 3 bases. The Nashville will be out as well. And I think with Pineapple Cactus' army growing, if it can get a couple of Scourge off on this Shuttle Reaver, it would be golden. but right now it's mulling about too much and hasn't got a coherent plan anywhere. The Corsairs are doing a lot of damage, and then you should be able to balance a production of a Scourge and stuff and not make too many Ultras, because these Ultras are very expensive. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Lucas coming in with the Arbiters and the Reavers. That's pretty good. These Ultras are doing a murderous job, and this Archon is going to live. These Ultras are so badly microed, it's not true. These Archons are doing way too much damage. I think that it could be a valid composition, Lurker Ultra, but then the Ultra micro ought to be a little bit better. Now Lucas taking more and more bases and is cleaning one up of Pineapple Cactuses. And Pineapple Cactus is really flapping a little bit. It's not really deciding what to build anymore. Its algorithms have sort of crashed, and this is... oh dear, that's a bloody shame. Lucas Moravec is timing out, left the game, crashed, I don't know, and the Pineapple Cactus is winning by default. But if you look at the last production tab, it's looking like this. It's a handful of drones versus all that. If you don't time out, you can be a very good winner there. And I got another recommendation. It's Zergbirth versus Styx, and I was surprised to receive 2 games by Styx, because I never paid it much attention. So a mid-tier, a lower mid-tier Zerg versus Zerg is perhaps pretty interesting to watch. And as the game has been recommended, I think it will be interesting to watch. Exchange of scouting information will take place in the favour of Zergbirth, because of course the drone is a little bit faster than the Overlord. Overlord is still checking out the middle of the map, while the drone is already on its way back and will receive a commendation for that. Handful of Zerglings running in, and Styx has got a handful of Zerglings of its own. Hasn't got a will have a sunken soon, just to be safe. I like that, because ooh dear, Zergbirth going for a 5 drone thing, that's pretty ballsy. And Styx going for a quick spire, and with more than double the amount of workers and a larger army supply, is in a good position to take this game, because it's got the sunken, it's got the army, which is at least equal, and has got 12 versus 5 workers, already got the lair, and of course the spire is prepping. More workers being added, I think I like that. Could do with another sunken or another hatch, just to be sure. Lots of gas in the bank, so you're going to run out of larvae. The build order-wise might do better with another hatchery, and Zergbirth is going for another hatchery. Is now on 4 workers versus 14. Natural being taken, and oh sorry, I heard that. That's 3 mutas versus a handful of Zerglings, and that usually ends in the favour of the mutas. So congratulations, Styx will be watching. You saw earlier that your combat micro needs a little bit of upgrading. Lurkers could be, or lurkers are very tricky to handle, so... oh, there we go. That's the GG, and I'm going to go into the next game, because I've still got 3 more. And that's going to take me a while, and my voice is holding. Had a bit of a rough night, but then again was much fun, but usually my voice suffers a little bit because of that. This game is going to be Sorenclet, or the bot's called Whopper, versus Marion Diveka, and someone requested to see Kilowatt versus Crazio or Iron, and that only ends in Iron and Crazio winning, so I thought, well, let's take another very good Terran. It's Whopper, it's not really as well known, but it is still pretty good. It can do basically all the things that Iron and Crazio can. It's a little bit more defensive and not as macro heavy, but you will see it will be able to do a lot of damage. Now Kilowatt going for a very nice SimCity with a quick lair and not too much complications. Of course, lair and Hydra Den means lurkers. At the Terran end of things, siege mode is already up. We have got a couple of, what are they called, vultures as well. Naturals being taken might be beneficial if there is going to be any kind of lurker play to have 2 comsats and mines as well. So if we now take stock, the Zerglings are rolling up, that's good, and there are no lurkers yet. So ninja expansion over here, large map, and I think that if you are going to learn Zerg play, watch Kilowatt because it is so very good. It's still the number 3 at the non-voted ladder of Crazio, and I believe Nightcat's involved too. And if you're going to learn TVT, you can watch Soren class Whopper, because that's also a very basic approach to TVT. Just take the map with mines and zealots, vultures, and then behind that macro. Second comp set coming up, and it is up gathering energy. That's always good. And I don't think we are going to see many lurkers. We've got Broodling coming up, and that's a bit of whoa. That's a very wacky build because it's going to take forever for these queens to gather up enough energy. They haven't got consumed. That would have been nice to see, because then they could just eat a whole herd of Zerglings and Broodling all the time. Someone should make a mod of that, and we should pay it for April's Fool or something, I don't know. But for the time being, Whopper is as straight as you can get, defending one entrance, not both of them. And that is, of course, that's a feature of this map. It's Moonglaive that has got 2 entrances to the natural, making harass a little bit more feasible. Nice cliff over here. Oh, and there comes the first queen. So the queens and the hydras are keeping their distance, drones being transferred all over the map, and a nice pack of queens hovering over here. There must be some over there as well. So if we look at the army composition, we can see we've got 10 queens, 1 hydra, 1 pair of zerglings, and that's about it. The Terran is investing in a mech army, which will take a while to build, but it is very powerful because the Zerg army, it's 20 of this is queens, so that's not going to do much, if anything at all. And Zerg at this point should have taken more bases, but Kilowatt is not as adaptive as that, and instead it's producing a lot of drones and a little bit of everything, and it's not really dedicated to one particular tactic, and it's going to, well, these hydras are basically worthless versus this mech army. Versus mines are okay, and the first Broodlings have been cast. Some queens have been damaged, and casting a Broodling on a vulture is not really, you shouldn't do that really. It's a bit of a waste. Just fly around the back, take a couple of tanks, take a couple of workers. That might do. If you cast 3 Broodlings on workers, that's a lot of damage and will disrupt the mining very much. 4th base being built by Kilowatt, and now the hydras are exchanging blows with vultures. That's okay. And more queens being built. We've got 16 queens already. That's... oh, and that was a very ugly mine hit. So with 16 queens, I think you can land quite a... 17 queens, you can land quite a lot of Broodlings. Hello, my dear, and more hatches being built as well. So Whopper is doing okay for itself. The problem is that Kilowatt has got a very large army, and the tank count for Terran is pretty much in the toilet. Oh, and this queen is coming to get out alive with this. That's not good. For Terran, the problem is that these hydras can keep the vultures at bay. They go toe-to-toe with them. The exchange rate is about equal. Hydras are a little bit more expensive, and of course vultures have got the mines, but then again hydras regenerate health, and that's okay. Right now, Whopper's problem is the Broodling, because although, let's see how many there are, there are now 20 queens. That means 20 free-ish kills every once in a while, and we've got a queen forest over here. Some of them are badly damaged though, and some over here. Are there any here? Yes, 2 or 3, and over here nothing yet. And a 3rd base by Whopper, no 5th base by Kilowatt. Marion Vec has called Kilowatt, FYI thingy. But Kilowatt is really having a ball, making a lot of workers, infrastructure. Another well, 1 queen died apparently, so I think 20 queens is about its max. And the tank count for Whopper is not coming off the ground. It's 5, a lot of supporting units, but that's not going to work with a long push. And the 5th base for Kilowatt has now been taken. Oh dear, here we go. Queen coming up, another queen coming up, and that's going to be hard to cast. Where is it going to find a target? It will take a high value target, namely a tank. And this one is going to find a battle cruiser. That might interest it a little bit. And it's going to fall to the rates, I think. Yeah, there it goes. It's not... Oh, I should just place your egg and... No, it dies. So right now, Whopper's got a handful of raids, a battle cruiser and a handful of tanks. But there are queens flying about everywhere. And where is it going to find a target? Another tank, and that's very expensive. That's just 3 damage. Oh dear, and the Hydra count has gotten so big. And there is only 1 tank left, and although there is a battle cruiser, and that's a pretty cool thing, it's going to take a while, and these Hydras are doing so much damage to everything. The mines and the battle cruiser are keeping Whopper in this game. But that was the last tank, and that you can see how hard it is for Whopper to get anything going. This base is completely overrun already. Kilowatt taking more bases, and this Queen's build, as ridiculous as it is sort of working. And the Hydra count, it's 20 Queens and some supporting units, but the supporting units are really packing quite a punch. And the Queens, although not with the best judgment, take out the occasional units for free. And if they do take out a tank, it's very hard for Tone to get the tank count up to respectable levels. Queens could be a little bit less suicidal, but then again, there are Hydras as well. So that's not the biggest worry. Biggest worry for now is in Whopper's hands. Oh dear, look at the production tab. Hatches all over the place. This base is going to go down. It would be a nice touch to see an infest. I think that only TSMU Zerg does that. Perhaps Herrick Hammer too. Infest might really be nice, but now it's 2 bases versus the map. And production tab wise, a handful of everything for Whopper, and Kilowatt is making Hydras. Because it's got its full complement of 20 queens, and there isn't that much it can brooding anymore. And what? Well, I don't know where it is. Oh, here's one. And look at it go, and it will probably take the tank, or not, or the Hydras will take the tank. At this point, it doesn't really matter anymore. It's 8 versus 80 army supply. Let's go into the last couple of games, and of course all the games today have been recommendations. I'm so grateful for that, because I'm way too busy. I'm an old man, I work too hard, and I don't have too much time to watch Blue AI anymore. But the games I've been recommended this week have been absolutely glorious, and well, let's see if these two will live up to that as well. So the last 2 games I've got today are Cutest versus Iron, and Cutest versus Crazier. Cutest has been doing remarkably well. Its performance versus top bots is absolutely stellar. So let's have a closer look. It's 1 gate, goon range, and then you have a goon to play with. Always a nice thing to have. Quick, natural, and then another goons to keep the scouting units at bay. Iron is going to play from 1 base with a nice wall, but it's under pressure already by this 1 goon, and that's going to cost it a couple of units. This scouting SCV is now dead, which means that Iron will have some ranged goons on its in its lap, and that will be quite a problem until it gets mines. And that will not be too long, but for the time being, the goons can do and will do damage. 1 vulture dead, 2 vultures dead, a couple of mines dead, another vulture is going to die, and look at the mine snipe. Oh, that was pretty lucky on that mine. And Cutest will kill, it does kill the tank, and now Iron is in a lot of trouble. The second tank is being engaged as well. It's not cautious enough, and it gets killed. And now we've got 4 ranged goons, a natural up and running, no natural in sight for Iron. Iron trying to get by with a handful of vultures and SCVs, and of course you can mine up bases and be cute with that, but that's not going to work. Cutest with a very nice ranged goon build, and that's very hard. You basically need a bunker with repair and then range and then into tanks. And Iron's bread and butter is really this harass, just taking the map with vultures and the occasional tank and spamming turrets and just doing its thing. And now these goons are suffering from the mines a little bit, and there is no follow-up, so that's a pity. But I'd say that this oh dear, the vultures are getting some back, and I don't really... Oh dear, we have got a Dark Templar drop in the offing. That's pretty good, but at the cost of losing a lot of workers, and that is not how it's done. So let's see. The vultures are now in control of the natural of the Cutest. And the question is, where is that bloody shuttle with the 4 Dark Templar? I can't see it. Please help me find it, anyone? Meanwhile, the vultures are overrunning the natural and killing the goons. Where is that shuttle? I don't know. Should be going here, but obviously isn't. Lots of goons being produced, and cannon as well. Might as well. But oh, it took the long route all round the back. And Iron has it. It hasn't got a scan. It's got a couple of mines. And perhaps with the goons. Yep, there come the goons. And the cannon sort of protects the mineral line. A lot of workers are dying. But here come the Dark Templars. And they are now in the mineral line of Iron. And Iron hasn't got a hope. Has got a couple of mines. But the mines are all out here. And all the workers are over there. So that's not going to cut it, I fear. And the Cutest should be protecting this probe with his life. This goon is so dead, and this... protect the worker. Just don't do it. Oh god, these... they are so stupid, but the economic damage has been done. And Iron has only got 25 minerals left, so this tank is finite. And the last worker got killed, so it's going to be a base trade. And there are a lot of mines over here, so I don't really know if these Dark Templar can actually do it. And there is no worker left for the Cutest. Has got a cannon, but these tanks will roll up and kill it. There you go, and now the vultures can get in as well. So not really as good defending as we could have seen from the Cutest, but the Cutest with the high DPS. Oh dear, only 2 Dark Templar. No, you gotta be kidding me. Don't stall. Oh dear, no, you can't mean to. No, 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 no. Oh, the Cutest, you were doing so well. Of course, there are flying buildings, but could have been a little bit better. Iron, just by the skin of its teeth holds, and the Cutest, if it hadn't defended that one worker or not suicided as many goons, would have done gloriously. But a Dark Templar drop, what a sight to see. Yeah, sorry, already saw that. This was the game, and it's going to be the last game. It's the Cutest versus Crazio, the number 1 versus the number 2. And a recommendation, as have been all games I casted this broadcast. I hope it's not been too long, because it's been quite long, and I try not to do this, but then again I get into the games, and the games are so good, and I like hearing myself talk, so I hope I'm not boring anyone to death, and if I do so, please watch it in 2 installments, I don't know. Perhaps you should do that, just one broadcast on Saturday or Sunday, and one on Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't know. So, Crazio going for a quick natural command center. And the Cutest going for the 2-gate ranged goon. That's okay, because the factory is only starting now, and that's going to be a bit of a problem. Oh, and a run-by! It's the goon totally ignored the bunker. Now all the SCVs are in a fit, and we've got 3 goons sort of ignoring the bunker. The mining has completely stalled. Crazio's lost its wits, and that's... oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's pretty good. So now we've got 2 bots which do run-bys. That's Iron and that's the Cutest. And it can be so deadly, because killing this bunker with marines in it, with or without repair, is going to take you forever. And if you just run by it, there is nothing behind it, just workers, and then you'll have a field day killing them, taking your time, showing your Gosu Goon Micro in the enemy main. And I think that DT drop needs a little bit of balancing with the defense at home. But these 2 games showed you that the Cutest is up for a fight, and Iron and Crazio had better beware, because Crazio, if I'm not very much mistaken, is going to lose. This bunker might fall. There is only 1 marine in there, and now it is dead. And now it is 18, it's 20 goons versus 9 SCVs. natural command center being taken by Cutest. Cutest, with the balls and the glory, is going for a clean-cut victory versus the #1 Crazio, and is doing itself a world of good. Will be a treat to see these players compete in CIG, which will start in the summer, but sign-ups have been enabled, so if you haven't got a bot, please go and pay them a visit. The site's link is up on Facebook, and I'll link to it in the description of this video as well. So everyone who has recommended the game this week, thank you very much, keep them coming, and of course I'd like to thank, as always, all the authors of the bots. It has been a glorious week. I thank you for watching, and I'll hope to see you again next week. Goodbye!